So lovely, Sarah. Thank you so much for sharing your heart, because this is part of the series of connecting with the heart of Sarah Kekoa. And when I think back to how we met, is through the lovely Michelle Mook.
Yes, gorgeous, yeah.
And what a great fit. I mean, I'll never forget turning up at the farm, you saying, right, we'll meet at the farm.
The farm
with a view of us doing this fire walk. We'll meet at the farm. You know we're meeting at the farm, don't you, Lisa? And I'd been doing either coaching or filming, but something where I needed to look nice. Looked at me watch and thought, God, I better get in the car now. And of course, what turns up is me in a pink 50s dress and
you did look amazing though. You looked like an absolute doll. I mean, so perfect. And I was just like, oh, we're going to get you dirty. We're going to break you in somewhere.
But I thought that your wellies.
Yeah, you look great. I know you look amazing. It's a great look, a dress and wellies. I think it's very foxy, very foxy.
And that was a year ago. And since then, I truly treasured our friendship. And some of the things that I love about you is your integrity to the truth and the work that you're doing. So can you share with anybody that's been so generous to cast their eyes over this little chat that we're having, can you share what it is that you're about and what you do?
Oh, what it is I'm about. Wow.
What is the point of you?
What is the point of me? Oh, my word, Lisa. I think I've had many points over my life, actually, because when I started this journey, probably 22 years ago now, I mean, that's before my own old personal stuff, and I've got quite a rich history. I was actually a horse whisperer. So I worked like out in California with an incredible horse whisperer out there, and so it was a completely different world than what I'm in now. But one, as you go through life, when you look back, you can see how the dots join. Because if I hadn't done that, it wouldn't have got me there and taught me that and blah blah blah. And as it is, I still have 7 horses, and we still use them in the work that we do. So they're still very integral in my life and in our community's life. So where I'm at now at this end of it is just all about the people. Just all about the people. I mean, we did used to say that when the horses came, we'd work with the horse, and then we'd send it back, and it'd go well for so long, but then it would start to resort back to old behaviours, and you'd be like, maybe this isn't about the horse. So then that's when I kind of started working with the people, and it developed from then, really. One of the biggest stories that we tell is when a mum turned up on the driveway with her 12-year-old son, who absolutely refused to get out of the car, but she didn't know what else to do with him, and then that kind of set me off on my child path, to open a school for children, and just go through all that lovely Ofsted stuff that you have to go through to get there. And that was an amazing time of my life. That was really spectacular. And now I'm working very much in the mental health stuff, which is, of course, right now pretty critical.
Just go back a bit for well, really me, even though I know you. I say so well, but I feel connected. What is horse whispering? What is it that you're doing? I mean, were you whispering in horses? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think we do that, or that we have some kind of telepathic thing going on, which I'm not dissing at all, because I've actually got an amazing friend who does that. Do you know what I mean? I think that's an incredible skill. It was a time of learning for me about how to really see and feel those subtleties when so in this case it was the horses, but it's gone on to be another being, is offering you all the communication that you ever need, and excluding this, really, because of course the horses can't speak to you, and I've gone on to be able to take those skills into working with people. So I never need to hear their story or understand the detail of what's going on. I just need to hear them talk about how they're feeling, and I can go, oh, is that the truth? You know what I mean? And work through that now. But they gave me massive skills, horse whispering. It was about understanding them as a being that couldn't speak verbally to you, and they needed to share their problems with you. This is happening to me. I don't like the saddle, or I don't want to go on that trailer, or I'm frightened to death of traffic or the water or whatever. But they couldn't say that to you, so they had to kind of show you. It was amazing. Yeah, it is amazing. It was. It still is. We still work with it. We work with people with it still. So.
And tell me a bit about the mental health stuff that the I Choose Life Foundation. Tell me about that and how you got into it.
Yeah, well, that came out of a lot of trauma in my own life, as well as seeing people around me really going through what at the time I didn't really recognize it, if I'm honest. So we've got a charity and a foundation, and I kind of started those probably. Well, the foundation's been going over a year now, and the charity's been going probably about 7 years now. And it came out. I mean, I lost my mom over 3.5 years ago, probably 4 years in May, actually. Gosh, time is flying, but it still feels like yesterday. My home and my husband. So not through death, but probably through more mental health. So just really critical times for me, and just how I lost so much of my life. There's so much I don't remember. I've actually even got photos of me in places I have no recollection of it whatsoever. So the trauma, all that trauma on top of already my life stuff was a lot to take at the time. But because of the way I work through it and the way I deal with it and what I do, it's never taken me to that suicide level where it has others around me. And I thought, well, if I just shared what I was doing, or what I believe was on par with how to get people better, maybe that would help others, have the experience. And that's what I do now, really.
And what does that look like? What's the setup for that? You helping other people. That what sort of state of mind? I guess it's a range, isn't it? From where to where? What sort of state of mind do you work with, and how do you work with them?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, it's a really, and it makes me emotional. So this is the kind of stuff that really connects with my heart. When you meet a 7-year-old child who just wants to die. They don't want to be here. They really, the pain is too much for them to handle, and they don't know how to get away from it. So, that's probably the youngest child I've worked with who wants to take their own life. I've worked with others older than that. And then, of course, we work with everybody right through to 70-year-olds, so it's it's the pain. It's with the pain body, we're carrying a lot of pain that actually we don't really need to carry. There's certainly some of it we don't need to carry, and it's about exploring that with people. There's definitely a massive difference between grief when you lose someone, even in tragic circumstances, versus grief when you lose somebody, whatever the circumstance, and you're holding on to something around that. And there's a big difference. So it's about me working with people through that. And when I say grief, it can be a loss of a person, or it can be a loss of something. It doesn't have to be just losing a person. So
yeah. And so what are some of the things that, if anybody's been, or if anybody watching this knows somebody that they think they could do with being introduced to the Sarah way of
the Kekoa way, it's an interesting concept. It means brave one. Kekoa means brave one. That's that, yeah. So, and you do have to be brave, to go on the journey. So
yeah. What what sort of services are you offering that they can, I mean, when we're not in isolation, but we'll come to that in a moment, when we're normally not in isolation, how could they get a bit of Kekoa?
Yeah, well, I launched the foundation by doing a 500-mile walk around Yorkshire. So that was an incredible experience. That's how we launched it all. And I said, look, I need to walk. And it was something that had never been in my life at all. And then a friend kind of introduced me to walking. And I was literally the kind of person I live in town, and I would literally get the taxi into the centre of town. Do you know what I mean? I just did not walk at all. And she was just like, come and walk with me, just go out walking with her, because she wanted to do that. And I was like, okay. And then, I'm not joking, I was like Forrest Gump. I couldn't stop. I just was like, I just need to walk. So I ended up doing this big 500-mile trip around Yorkshire, and people joined me. We had nearly 100 people join me on that trip, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It really was. And so that kind of launched the foundation. So from the practical services that we offer, until this moment, but we're doing things differently now that the COVID-19's here, but we're still doing it, which is fantastic. But we were doing the walks and talks. So you come and walk with me. Any one-to-one sessions I would do out walking, and then we'd have the drop-in. So people come and join us. So we are still joining for the drop-in, but people are going to Zoom in now, and we're still doing one-to-one sessions. Yeah, and we've put a helpline out now as well, a support line. So I'm pleased with what we're able to do.
So your one-to-one sessions are on Zoom as well, or FaceTime, like that?
Yeah,
fabulous.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's been your biggest surprise, I guess, in the work you've been doing with the I Choose Life Foundation? The thing that you got into doing it, but it was a surprise that it came along that I never expected that. I mean, is it somebody's recovery or strengthening, or people's reactions, or what's been your biggest surprise?
I'll tell you what's been the most amazing thing for me, which is why it is the basis of everything that we do, Lisa, is the truth. There's that good old-fashioned saying, quite biblical, I know, but actually there's really something in it. The truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
And it is a really powerful thing. So fundamentally, the model that we run is connection, truth, action. And in every moment, we're connecting to find that truth, because without the connection, you can't find the truth anyway, and then take action on it. Because again, without the action, you're going to stay stuck. So for me, that has been the highlight of my life, apart from my amazing family and seeing my grandchildren laugh and children laugh and so on, is actually that truth, that will set you free. And because people are stuck at a level that's not the truth, and a lot of people leave them there and just say, oh, go and work on your feeling good about yourself, and go and work on your exercise, and go and work on
layering over it.
Yeah. They haven't gone far enough to get to the truth.
Yeah.
And when you create an environment that people feel like they are going to step into their bravery and find their truth, because actually there's as we are, there's that a complete acceptance. And that's where the horses are phenomenal too, because there is no judgments. There absolutely is 100% unconditional love and acceptance. No agenda whatsoever. They don't care what you're wearing, what car you drive, what you've been up to. They don't care about any of that. They're interested in your truth, and when you nail it, they can really connect with you, and you're connecting with yourself. So it's fabulous, powerful stuff.
Well, I've been with you and the horses, and the whole experience it's so different that it is so healthy. Talking therapy on its own, which has its place, and then there's the talking through the metaphors that we see in the horses, that brings something out within yourself, also that reflection that you see,
Yeah.
and your style that you wrap around it is just incredible.
It's all about the cups of tea, Lise.
Can I get a cup of tea? Don't remember getting a cup of tea. Now you tell me.
I'm sure there would have been one.
I take it all back. You never promised and under-delivered. In this climate that we're in, is it a climate? Oh, we're definitely in. We're always in a climate. And just making the giant leap of assumption that everything happens for a greater reason. If we believe in how nature works,
that's a really good point, isn't it, at the moment? Because this is going to challenge a lot of people's beliefs and values and their truths, their fears. This is going to really challenge their fears and what it's all really about. It is a big turning point, if we're lucky, for us.
Yes. And what do you think then, if there's a bigger plan in place, and this, horrible virus, we're not saying it's good, but we're hoping that some good will come at the very least from the awfulness of it. So if there is a bigger plan, and nature likes to adjust and balance things, and everything has its season and a reason, what do you think in your heart? And I know it's just your belief, it's not a fact. But what do you think in your heart is the overall gift that we hope to get from this awful COVID-19?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to diss people's fears in this, because I'm obviously working with people, going through that, and but if people understood that I was with them in and understanding their fears. So first and foremost, I want to make that very clear. I understand that this for them is a very traumatic time, or can be for people, and very scary because of the unknown. It's a lot about the unknown, isn't it? And that triggers all our fears up. However, in my world, in the world of the little bubble that I live in, is I think this is phenomenal. I think if we'd been brave enough to do this as a human race and prepared everybody, and taken the initiative to shut everything down for a period of time to heal, as I believe this will, the people, our souls, the environment, everything, how amazing would that have been if we'd taken that responsibility? But of course we didn't, and we haven't, and Mother Nature, whatever, that is doing that for us. But I feel that if people can surrender to it, something beautiful will come out of this for every single being on this planet. And I understand about loss, okay? And I can sit here and I can say that I have had lots of loss, but particularly 2 tragic losses in my life with a lot of trauma around them. So it's not like I'm sitting here saying, it's, if you lose somebody, you'll just get over it, because you don't. It is not like that. But I also, work with people with a lot of pain bodies, and one question that I ask them is, would you have changed anything?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when they get down to it, they're like, nothing, nothing. Nobody wants to go back. Nobody really wants to go back here. And when they get into the truth of it, actually, they're a better person now. They've grown more from it, and when they can really see that is where all their lightness comes from. you know, and it's phenomenal when you see people who came to me in so much pain, even to the extent that they want to take their lives because they can't deal with it, and then go, actually, no, and then poof, their lightness and all the heaviness is just lifted. It's phenomenal. Yeah, so I believe that there will be beauty. There will be beautiful. There used to be something we used to say in Australia that we work to play over there, whereas they tend to work to live over here. So it's just a little bit of a different concept anyway that I've been brought up, and also I have lost and lost and lost and lost in my lifetime, and so I can sit here and go, well, you know, I'll go again, because I have gone again, and I have gone again, and I have gone again, and it gives you a lot more confidence, and that's what's keeping me out of the fear right now. So as for, you know, all that material loss, it is scary. It's very, very scary for people who haven't been there, because they're going to think that they can't exist without it. It's not the truth. I'm just going to come straight back to it. It's not the truth. You know, they will be okay. And of course, getting it is scary, you know, because you might die, and that's scary, you know. And what's that going to feel like? And are you going to suffer in some kind of way? And of course, you know, some of us are okay about dying, but maybe the way we die is the scary bit, you know. So the death, actually, we don't feel anything, and we might go to a happier place or whatever. But in that process of dying, that's gonna scare everybody. That is gonna scare everybody. There's no doubt about it.
What do you love about people? What fascinates you about people?
Oh, my life! I tell you what, the thing that this has triggered in me, which was such a shock for me recently, because it hasn't been about this, you know, losing stuff or whatever. It's been about not hugging. I have realized that I am such a hugger, and actually it's been said to me in the community, but again, I'd never really, like, every, you know, time you meet every single person, there's always, you know, a big hug, and as we get to know them more, it lasts longer, and it's deeper, and it's phenomenal. And actually I had a little bit of a wobble maybe about 5 days ago, when it was like, right, no touching. I was like, actually, I don't know if that's going to work for me personally. And it was literally, and so that is the thing that I feel like I'm losing out of this, is the physical contact. And that's a big thing. So I'm totally envious of anybody who actually has got locked down with their family, because mine are in Australia, and my son I've sent out to his dad at the farm so he can stay safe out there. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm here on my own. Just like, oh, I need a lockdown hug buddy. That's what I need.
What can be mailed to you? Amazon might have one. What do you hope, you know, amongst a lot of things that I'm sure will be on your list, but what's the one thing that you hope will last as a learning for people on the other side of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Great question. A couple of things I love about this is that we needed to slow down. We were literally killing ourselves, and we're killing our children, you know. So this whole going from 100 miles an hour to nothing, it's harsh for everybody, but just stop, please, just stop, you know. So I'm going to love the fact if we can come out of this knowing what's really important, which is each other. You know, it is. And that, again, it gets me here, because I'm like, it's these friendships, it's the root, you know, it's being honest with each other, it's making time for each other, and not getting caught up in that spin of that world again. If I could pray for anything, it would be, let's not go back. Please, let's not go back to that.
But I think I totally agree with you, because we're caught up in the world of shunning, don't we? We were just speaking earlier before I hit record about, you know, I feel like I should be Say really bad.
Do something.
It doesn't matter what, as long as something's going out. And that world of shoulding that becomes our life, doesn't it? Becomes our life. I should be working hard. I should be earning more money. I should be having higher targets. I should be. And the whole time we're shoulding, I imagine that a should, anything that is should, puts distance between your heart and other hearts. Because shoulding, I think, tends to be a head thing.
Yeah.
About something that's not as important as a heart connection. And when I think about where my priorities have changed slightly in it, that it's more about who's, and when I notice who I'm in touch with and keeping close and keeping in touch with, that's showing me where my heart is. And that is, and then also, things that are happening. Message my neighbour. Well, she messaged today to check I was okay because I'm not at my home, and how my other neighbours cut my front grass for me.
Love it.
Not because it's going to get a thank you, or I'm even going to notice it because I'm not there, but because that's the right, not the right thing to do, but that's what he can do.
Yeah. And you know what? It's probably as beneficial for him because it gets him out of the house, and to your lawn, which is 2 doors down. So, it's great. It's beautiful. And there's a lot of that happening, isn't there? There's a lot of people coming together. And it just, let's just keep working on that, really. That's it for me. It's always been it.
What is it that the difference or the impact, or what is it that you feel that, or know, that you're here to make in the world? You've had your life journey, your soul. I feel like I can really feel tangibly your soul and its mission. But what is it for you that you were put?
I've been on a big journey with that over my lifetime. Again, always think, again, it goes back to that. I wanted to be the best horse whisperer. Then I wanted to have the best independent school. And then, it was always that kind of stuff. And actually now, I tell you what, it's being the best version of myself, and that, I hope that doesn't sound kind of a bit, I don't know, a bit heady or whatever, but it's if I'm stuck in my stuff somewhere, or I'm not bringing my best version just to, or even when I'm out walking with the dogs and I can say hello to somebody, because I'm light enough to be able to do that, especially in a time like this. We're still allowed out for that one exercise a day, aren't we? And
10 hours.
Yeah. Don't get me going. Somebody sent me a 500-mile thing the other day, saying, well, we could go out once.
When somebody sees you out at 5 and they last saw you out at 9, you can say, no, it's the same walk.
Yeah, still on the same walk. But I've literally seen people not even wanting to say hello. Yeah. It's like they just, and some other people are still bringing the light. And I'm like, we just got to keep bringing that light. Just keep bringing, there's nothing to be frightened of. And I know that that's not easy to hear right now, but especially when death is on the cards, and that's our biggest fear.
And the truth is, though, death is still on the cards, whether we get it or not.
Well, it is, and it kind of, it's just magnified right now, isn't it? So,
yeah, it's all that we're hearing. It's 100% of what we're being shown and fed, and there isn't the balance of what else is going on in the world. It makes you wonder what has happened that we don't know about, that's been that the COVID-19 uses in front of. Because there are some conspiracy theories, aren't there? There are lots of conspiracy theories out there about that this is man-made and it's for the government to lock us down and control us. Have you heard any of those, and what do you think about them?
I haven't. Yeah, I mean, I have heard that it was planted or whatever. I think I'm more likely to go with the fact that it's probably come out of you know, from the big rainforests that have been destroyed or something. You know, we've churned up a lot of stuff in the earth, haven't we? So, you know, only because I just saw a great interview the other day with somebody who'd been out and done all these studies about these indigenous communities just kind of getting viruses, and they realized that it was coming from, you know, their big, what do you call them, big forests and all the rest of it. So, you know, and I don't know. I don't. Again, for me, it's just fear, isn't it? Just let's not buy into all the fear. We might never know, and sometimes we just have to accept that we might never know. But I think if we attach ourselves to stuff, you know, how helpful is that right now? The fact is, we're here and now. This is what we need to do in order to manage it. Please surrender to it the best you can. Make the most of it, because actually when it's over, because we're hearing now reports back from China saying actually we're on the other side, and they look back and they just think, honestly, you will be grateful, you know, when you get through it and come out. But you'll be so, like, a cup of coffee is going to mean everything. Sitting in the cafe, you know what I mean?
I think my fabulous accountant, Stacey McVitie, is sending out a daily email to her clients every day. And, you know, she's in the same boat as the rest of us. She's having to fathom out what's happening, who's entitled to what, whilst fielding what I can only imagine are hundreds of phone calls in a week of people in their fear about their business and their money. But each day she sends out the email, and, you know, she's having to homeschool her little girl as well as run her business.
Yeah.
And she sent a lovely email this morning saying, you know, I'm interested to hear this. This is a kind of a once in a lifetime chance where there is nothing else we can be doing but planning, preparing, scheduling, redrafting what we want our business to look like. And, you know, we will come out of this, but now's the time to be ready for when we do come out the other side. And I really admired her capacity to still try and instill confidence and help people get into a mindset of being resourceful, because this period of us having no choice but to be in will stop, and we'll wish that we'd enjoy it or we're more resourceful within it. And I'm just finding it fascinating seeing people's capacity when they're going through their own stuff, for them to still extend, as you said earlier, the light to others, so that they can hold a belief or a hope that on the other side they will benefit. That's what I'd like for people, you know. And so I wonder if you have, and I know I'm putting you on the spot, you can breathe. I felt your buttocks go, oh no, what is she going to ask? We've not.
I've gone back to being 15 at school when they asked me to read out loud.
Read out loud.
Trying not to panic.
While standing up at the front. Oh, I can't do any of those things. Which is, for those people that are isolated, might have low mood, or even worse still, a lower mood. I don't want to put a label on it. Do you have a couple of tips or some wisdom that could support them or help them in any way?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. So we've, you know, like, sometimes when you're in those really, really low places, you don't even want to talk to somebody. You really don't. But I hope that somebody will be at least texting them. So even if I don't hear from somebody, I still send the text. I still get in touch. Do you know what I mean? So I hope they have people around them like that. One thing.
Just on that, that's a really great point that I'm sure people are doing, but we might be in a mindset sometimes of, oh, I don't want to bother them. But I know you're a massive believer of, if you feel you want to do it, do it. But actually, for us to consciously think about, who can I reach out to and just check in with them, for it to be a conscious thing, not just, oh, if it passes through my inclination, then I'll do it. But consciously think about who we can.
Yeah, but both really. I think you need to be open to both. You know, if you've got some spare time and think, okay, I'm gonna look after. If everybody just looked after their network right now, again, that's all we need. You know, I'm not going out there going, hey world, we're here. What I've gone is, okay, I need to look after my people right now.
Yes.
That's the bit I can do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look after the people that we have, you know, and we're connected with, the best that I can do, you know, and get my support from my close people and what I need from that. Okay. Yeah. So definitely that, and send the text with no regard for getting anything back. You know, don't worry about that, because when people are in those dark places, sometimes they just don't want to, and they can't, and it's too much effort. I know that sounds like hard to get your head around, but until you've been there, you don't know what that feels like, where you just think, oh, it's another text, but actually it does mean something to them, but they sometimes just don't have that energy to give back, or they've maybe picked one person or whatever. So definitely be sending what you can to people, and thinking about that. I feel that when people are in that really heavy state, it's not the truth. That's one thing I would offer, and I've seen it every single time I've worked with people.
Give me an example. Just give us an example, so anybody watching can identify it, or identify it in someone else. So when they're in that heavy state, it is not the truth.
Yeah, you're buying into something that's not the truth at that time. Yeah, and you'll be like, but it is the truth. It is the truth. I could lose my house, or you know, that person doesn't love me, or whatever. But if you keep going down, and that's why I guess the likes of you and me are here, Lisa, because sometimes you just need that person on the outside to support you to keep going deeper if you can, because when you actually find the truth, it just goes, oh, it literally, I see them go, oh my God, because they've taken the responsibility back here, the power, you know, the energy back here, and they can see it for what it is, and then they can do something about it. Yeah. I'm not saying that everything's all of a sudden going to go your way, because I don't know what the circumstances are, but all I know is when you're that heavy, it's not the truth.
Yeah. And that heaviness is can be pretty paralyzing. You know,
it is on the sofa stuff. Can't leave the house stuff. I can't get a shower. Can't brush your teeth stuff. You know, that of course, very paralyzing. You know, and one of the biggest things I say, but you know, I'll give people an example. You know, like when someone's died, but they're dead. You know, I can't bring them back. Okay, I hear you, but that's not what you're holding on to. That's not what you're holding on to. Okay, yes, I get that the fact that person is not with us anymore, but the heaviness is not related to that. And I've worked on that time and time again, and again, it's a real light bulb moment for people when they think that it was about the actual loss or the death of somebody, but actually what they realize is that they were holding on to other stuff around it that just wasn't the truth. And once you recognize that, you say, you can then go, okay, that's when the healing work can begin.
Yeah, and the heaviness can lift, so they feel a bit more able, a bit more empowered, a bit more.
Yeah.
So at the very least, getting to the truth, whilst it might not change the external circumstances, the lifting of the
heaviness,
untruth, and the heaviness is freeing for that lightness.
It is, but and that's what I would want for everybody. Often the problem is we've become friends with the heaviness, and it brings benefits to us. So there's a lot of work to be done around that. But you know, so you know, that's why at the moment this work is so critical, really, to support people really who might be dropping into some of that right now. And that's why you can do it like this. You know, you can do it over Skype and WhatsApp. Yeah.
I mean, it is great to be with you in person and with the horses and in the fresh air. That is second to none. But this is still, you know, this conversation is still heart connected and soul lifting and enriching.
Yeah, great.
I've loved chatting to you, darling. I've absolutely thank you so much for all your time and your wisdom. It's just flown by. How long we chatted for? 40 minutes. We've been,
Lovely.
really. Is there anything you want to share with the world before? Is there anything that you think that this is an opportunity to share something that?
What a great time to be able to find you and be you. Just bring yourself to this world. We need every single individual to be them and their way. You know, one of my greatest things that I say to people and say for myself, if I was being me now, what would I do? If I was being me, you know, and that means I would do that hard stuff. I would reach out and I would say how I was feeling about somebody or speak up in a situation, because that's me and that's what I bring to the world. And I always thought it was about this or that. I mean, I've never really been into material things, but, you know, being greater in some way. But actually I've realized that the me, you know, me being me, you being you, I love that. You know, what more could we want? And this is what a great time to do it.
And quite often what we think of is being me isn't going to cut the mustard. I certainly remember occasions where I thought, oh no, there was a time when I was going to be on the TV and I was on it and I thought to myself, being me is just not going to cut the mustard for this. I'm going to have to pretend to be someone else. Because we often don't think we're enough or something, but in fact,
not the truth.
It's not the truth. It's not the truth. You cannot actually be anyone else. You know, sometimes when you think, oh, now if I was really clever now, what would I think? Well, the very thought that comes next is because you're really clever now, and it is actually your thought. Or if I was Oprah Winfrey right now, what would I think? Yeah, it's still my thoughts. You know, the fact that I think Oprah would think that, therefore I'll think it. It's still my thought bank. So it's really, I love it. I love it, darling.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. It's gorgeous to talk to you too.
And you, my darling, you've been a ray of sunshine, and I can't wait for all the people I know and love to experience some Sarah Kekoa.
Oh, thank you, darling. That's lovely. And I look forward to walking with somebody.
When it's legal. When we're legal.
Yeah, when we're legal.
All right, my lovely. See you later.
All right, darling. Take care. Bye.